Today, we're going to talk about the opportunities we see in Kenya. Kenya is exploding, and in 3 to 5 years, Kenya is going to look completely different. And a lot of people are wondering, like, what investment vehicles, what opportunities they could take advantage of. And I brought the expert on this topic because he's been in the States and now he came back to Kenya to build his empire. My boy Tiki.
Nice to see you, bro.
Appreciate you. And we're going to talk about your time in the States. Like, when did you go to the States? Like, did you go there during college or was you there even before college?
I was there before college. I actually went. I was there back in '87, and so I learned a lot. I must say, a lot of the things there, even though at the time didn't seem like the best experience, I didn't know what was actually happening to me. I was gathering more info for the future without having to know. Experience was everything, having worked in fast food restaurants, you know what I mean? And working my way up to doing investments in the States. I was doing logistics in the States. And so I had a lot of different backgrounds and different things. And with that experience, when I came back to Kenya, I was able to make life a little bit easier for myself. Eventually, okay, right now I'm doing very well. I'm very happy with the steps that I've taken. I live very comfortably, and all that is because of a lot of the things that I did in the US, and I put them together and integrated what I learned in Kenya and what I learned in the US and put them together and made what I have today. So some of the things I would like to talk about. I know in the States we usually have in most places, especially being people of color, we experience glass ceilings in every field you could imaginable. We never could rise to the top without a lot of fight. And even then, you still don't get there. In Kenya, it's different. There's no glass ceiling. I mean, here, we don't have that, is it because I'm black that I can't do this? It's none of that because we all black. You know what I mean? In Kenya, we're in Africa. So most of the things that you can do here, the things that are available to you, pretty much of everything that you have in the US, you bring it to Kenya and you make it work for you.
Yeah.
Whether it's real estate, logistics. Like I remember doing logistics back in Massachusetts, and I was initially supposed to be having one truck delivering pharmaceuticals from the warehouse to different hospitals. And very quickly, just being a hustler, I figured I'm gonna hire me some 5-6 drivers and take about 5-6 routes. And then I all of a sudden, without even having to know what I was doing, within a very short period of time, I had like 7 trucks on the road and all the way to 12 before I stopped doing that job. But those were the good old days. It's different now. Things are harder. No jobs, you know how it is. The economy is not so good in the States.
Yeah, it's definitely wrong.
Yeah. So, and plus, always, like what I always talk about is that glass ceiling.
Yeah.
Which it always hovers above you, no matter what you do. And in Kenya, I learned that since that is not an issue anymore, let me do what I can do. And so I've been doing pretty well.
Yeah. So, all right, let's talk about that transition from being in the States, running your logistic company.
Yeah.
And then you shut all that down. You came back home to Kenya. Like, how was that transition process? Did you try to bring the logistic company over here, or did you just come here and start anew?
Well, I didn't try to bring any kind of business to Kenya. The first thing I did was to learn the environment, the surroundings, the way that people think, what people do, what kind of businesses are available, which ones can be done and which ones can't be done. and the different challenges in all of them. And so my first 3 to 5 years was just identifying, learning, relearning, understanding. Because without that, then most of the time you'd fail. And so those 3 to 5 years in the beginning really meant everything. I worked in certain offices within the government,
Mm-hmm.
and under a friend of mine, and I learned a lot. And I think that is what made me who I am today, because the trial and tribulations on that was just was everything. I mean, I remember it'd be hard for me to understand Swahili back then, and because of this guy, he really gave me a boost.
He really like mentor. He took you under his wing.
Yeah, he did. He really did a good job, and I appreciate him. And so from there, I was able to understand a lot more about what happens in Kenya. So then after that, I got into real estate, which is a family trend.
Go ahead.
Yeah, which is a family trend, and so I kept to that. Combined real estate with interior decor, and yeah, and that's what I do pretty much now. You know,
Yeah, and speak on this because
construction. Yeah,
you said you had a mentor who like showed you the way.
yeah,
Because like Swahili is like the traditional language of Kenya, even though
True.
English and Swahili is both the official language.
yeah. You
Once
could
you
get
get
by without. You could get by without having to learn Swahili,
Yeah.
or you want having to speak Swahili. I did. I still don't speak Swahili, but I understand it. And so it's easy. I mean, a few words I could, if I really had to work my way out of a lion's cage, maybe then I could probably, get 1 or 2, 3, 4 sentences. And it's not because I didn't want to learn, but it's because everyone I engaged with spoke English, because Kenya is an English speaking country.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to really try and so it became like I became lazy at it. So there were so many things for me to do and understand, and that language, having to speak Swahili, was kind of delayed because of all the other things I had going.
Yeah, I would agree with you because when I lived in Tanzania, it forced me to speak Swahili because
Yeah.
Swahili, you wasn't getting nothing done.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you were speaking Swahili.
Yeah,
But here,
yeah,
I feel like you have to force yourself to speak Swahili.
yeah, yeah.
Because English is so prevalent and
Yeah.
people's English and the accent is so perfect
Yeah.
that it's great.
Yeah.
But you said you came back, you got in the trenches, which is hard because like, okay, America, the system seems like there is a ceiling over above your head. And you kind of have to like chuck and jive to get in that system. But here, I feel like Kenya is like free. Like if you have like an idea or you have like some type of like investment you could see, because like I feel like here people are kind of like people are smart. I'm gonna say like it's a very very intelligent,
smart.
very
Very
intelligent country.
Yes, they are.
But it seems like there's an opportunity there, and people are not putting one and one together because they're kind of looking at the traditional way of like, okay, I want a job instead of like, okay, let me create a job. And in America, people have been trained like that too. But now that they're coming back, that doesn't exist anymore. You're not gonna come here and like, I'm gonna work for Carrefour, which is like a supermarket, or you're gonna, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So tell us about how you got out that process of coming from America, like where everybody's trying to get a job, into like, okay, let me get into this business mindset.
See, Kenya is one of those few countries in the world where there are more business people than there are companies to work for. I think it's a very good thing because most people became businessmen, businesswomen by trial and error. And they're making it, some of them are making a very good living out of it. And one thing, for example, and this is one of the things that I really love about Kenya, there's a lot of red tape back in the US.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that you can't do. Like I could point one out for you. Let's just say Bobby knew a guy by the name Tony. Tony was looking for a property to buy, but Bobby don't have a license, a broker's license to do a broker deal. But he knows that Tony is looking for a place to buy. Then Tiki has the place to sell. So you come to me and you tell me about a friend of yours that's looking for a place. And you know what happens? You eventually you bring Tony to me. Tony purchases the property. And guess what? You get a 3% for just introducing that guy and that guy making a purchase. It's as easy as that. Okay, for the bigger properties and stuff, there are brokers' licenses that are needed. But in most cases, so it creates income in very many different fields. And that also goes with cars. So if someone was selling a car and you got involved and you brought the person and ABC, you get paid for it. So most people in Kenya are businessmen, businesswomen. Even those that are, even the ones that are employed still have businesses that they conduct on the side. And when I say on the side, in most cases, they make a whole lot more than they do on their 9 to 5. So Kenya is an opportunity country. A lot of people here are very smart. And one thing I like about Kenya is like people talk about, if you have a business, let's talk about it. Let's do some business together. How about you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they're so inviting to any and everyone who wants to do business. They don't look at where you're from, what you look like. At the end of the day, if there's money to be made, everyone's happy, and that's what I like about Kenya.
Yeah.
It's a perfect. It's one of the best countries I've ever been to or lived in. I tried going to Europe.
Yeah,
while
we
ago. I
both
told
tried
you
to go
about
to
that.
Europe. Yeah, we both tried to go to Europe.
I went there just for vacation, and I was supposed to be in there for like 3.5 weeks, and I traveled pretty much everywhere in Europe, and I couldn't wait to get back. After 1 week of being in Europe, I was like, yo, I'm ready to go back. But I couldn't because I already committed.
Yeah.
Paid for certain trips, you know what I mean? Yeah. So
yeah, that's one thing I'm noticing too, besides other countries I lived in. Like I lived in Thailand, I lived in Tanzania, I've been to Europe. Like the ease of doing business here in Kenya is like, it's not like, okay, yeah, I gotta get this paper signed and do all this. You can kind of like freestyle a little bit.
yeah.
But you mentioned one opportunity, like you mentioned like real estate. So like what are the opportunities that you're seeing? Like if somebody wants to come back here and they're looking for an investment vehicle to stay out here. Cause like that's the number one problem or the number one comment I always get was a DM, a comment. Somebody sent me something like, how I want to come back to Kenya, but how can I create income so I can stay here permanently instead of just coming here for a vacation?
What I could advise people is in your planning on coming to move or moving to Kenya, get a hold of experts in different fields, especially if you have a certain field that you're good at, in order to get directions and for you to be able to understand what would work best for you. There's so much opportunity, a lot, and especially business. You don't have to really have much background on business. You just have to have the right business to do, and they're experts who would guide you properly on what is best for you to take up for yourself.
Yeah. And that's what I always say. Like, and if like you're looking for like a trusted network
Right.
of people,
Right.
you can reach out. There's going to be a link in the comments, the first pinned comment and in the description. Like Tiki's been here for over 20 years. I've been out here and we got a good team of people. So if you have an idea you was considering coming out here and executing, you could get in contact with us and we can help you every step of the way. But okay, like you mentioned, like just let's give them some examples. You mentioned real estate. Like I know a lot of people out here. One is hot is like Airbnb. Like, what do you think about like the Airbnb and like the long term rentals? Like, what do you think about that market? Because I know you're deep into the real estate
Yeah,
market.
yeah, in the real estate. Okay. I moved back in 2012, back to Kenya, and I discovered that there's so many businesses that you can do in Kenya. And one of the best businesses that I found here in Kenya to do was real estate. And not only real estate, anything to do with construction. Construction right now, if you're into interior decor or and you have an understanding in it, it's got big money, especially here in Kenya. Big money. Construction, big money. Renovations, that kind of thing, big money. I mean, there's so much to do because Nairobi is growing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's times if I don't go to a certain section in like 4 months from now, when I eventually go back to that section, I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't leave this building here. This wasn't here. This wasn't there. It's because the city is growing in such a high speed that there's just a lot to do.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a lot to do.
amazing. Like,
Yeah. And so I do I can tell you if those are some of the fields that you could get into. Also IT,
yeah,
IT, big time. You know what I mean? It's a lot. You just have to, you know what I mean? Talk to the consultants within their company that Bobby will provide for you in order for you to understand whatever is on your mind, whether it would work here, how or what else you would like to get into. Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities, bro. It's a new. It's. I mean, the U.S. is over 400 years old. This is a young country. It's not even like what is it like 60 years old, 60 something.
yeah,
So I mean, there's so much to do. So many things to be introduced into our country.
yeah. And the funny thing is, I feel like us Americans are late to the party because if you look around, there's so many like Chinese,
Oh yeah,
so many Indians,
right,
so many people from like the Middle East
right.
are out here. And it seems like Americans and like, especially like African Americans, like they're not looking outside of America. Like everybody's dream is to like buy a house
Yeah,
and all that. But like a house is a liability. Like it's not bringing you income in.
it's not.
Like, so if you're going to put down like $20,000 or $30,000, you can bring that money here and invest in like real estate or something else. And the amount of money you will make back, you can buy like 2 or 3 houses out here.
Oh yeah.
Can you speak? Do you agree with that statement?
I do 100%. Yeah.
Because like,
Especially in the States, when you buy a house in the States, I don't think you get your money's worth. And no, not in the States. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I mean, I've had a house back in the States. I've had property over there. And compared to Kenya, I would rather invest here because even with real estate here, I mean, it's through the roof. You start seeing those your properties gaining what you call interest immediately.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was actually talking to a client last night. He married a Kenyan woman like back in I think it was like March or February. They bought a house and he said,
I'm gonna spray that nigga.
yeah, he said his property appreciated nearly double the amount that his property
Yeah,
in
that's how
Canada.
it works. That's how it works, pretty much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because people don't understand that with like developing markets, which Kenya is like the returns are outsized. Like everything in the States is pretty much set.
Yeah.
Everything in Canada is pretty much set.
Yeah.
Like you're not going there, you're gonna build, oh yeah, I'm gonna build me a skyscraper in the middle of Toronto, or I'm gonna build a skyscraper in the middle of New York City.
No.
But literally here, you can go to like Kilauea, Lavington, or Runda, and you will see new buildings going up
Every day.
every day.
Yeah, it's like that.
there's so much capital flowing into Kenya that
I'm not gonna say it's like Dubai. Like, you remember how they used to be like Dubai? The check Dubai in 1980 was this big, and then now it's like, I mean, Dubai they went through the roof with it.
Yeah.
Nairobi is doing the same thing, just not as fast, but faster than than most of us would understand. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, it's noticeable. Like, I left for 6 months.
Yeah.
And I came back. I'm like, what is this?
What
is this?
Yeah,
what is this? What is this?
One time. Yeah. I was like, hey, what's going on? Because I was doing some businesses too. Hey, one of the other businesses I was doing was I was doing some business out of Kenya and Dubai. So I was doing it, having some business between the two countries. And I would travel for like a month. I'd be there for a month and I come back and so on and so forth. And I would miss out on so much. And then you come and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. I mean, that's unbelievable. Opportunities are here, and they're many. And we are catering. I would love to say, I would like to think and say at the same time, I would love to provide business opportunities to African Americans, people from there, you know what I mean? From North America, the Caribbean, and so on and so forth. Mostly that area, because I know what we had to go through back in the States, and not, you know what I mean, not feeling like a part of, even when you're supposed to be a part of, you know what I mean? And so in Kenya, it's totally different. You're one of us. So we welcome you, and we want to show you that you can have a home better than the home that you have, that you call home in the US, and do pretty well. Most of you will never go back once you get here. There's so many people here who are like, I ain't never going back.
Yeah, that's a big part too that I try to get people to understand. Like, even though I'm an American citizen, America's my home. It doesn't feel like home.
It doesn't.
Every time I go back, I feel like, damn. But here in Kenya, I feel like people are so welcoming.
Yeah.
Like this is home now. Like, when I'm in America, I'm like, I need to go home to Kenya.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. You've been here for about a year and a half now?
Yeah, over like 8 months now.
Yeah. Because I remember last time when me and you and Czech were at the other December party.
Yeah,
and then you took, I think it's a year now.
Yeah, it's almost a year. Like, in real time, it was December, but I left. Remember, I went to Asia for 6 months.
Yeah, you went for a little while. Yeah.
Yeah, like, there's like, because a lot of, like, you bring up African Americans, a lot of African Americans, they feel lost in America. Because we're not.
I felt the same way. I mean, these dudes would never let you think that you are home, no matter what. I'm telling you, no matter who you are, no matter what you do, you're still that dude. Yeah, that they don't like. So, but in Kenya, we don't have none of that. Like, Bobby, when last time someone says, hey, you can't come to here because ABC, you know what I mean? Or you don't fit in. It doesn't look like you fit in here. When the last time you heard something like that?
Never.
You never will. You know what I mean? People be like, yo, he's one of us.
Actually, I feel more like people don't even question whether I belong places.
No, they can't.
Like,
because it's not in their mind. It's not in their heart. These guys Kenyans are very innocent when it comes to all that racial stuff. You know what I mean? The people don't understand what people go through in the U.S. And when you're in the U.S. and that's the only place that you ever lived, you won't understand what it is to be free until you get here. When you get here, that's when you understand freedom. Let me tell you, I have, and let me just say this. There's no day that I had to worry about. It's 2 a.m. and I need to drive back to my house and the cops are going to be following me all the way from A to B. Nothing, not a damn soul. Hey, and the freedom is unbelievable. Having to wake up and be like, you know what? I'm going to get out of my house, drive down the road, and no one is worried about your color. Unlike other places, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And why work for all these other places and you're not welcome?
Exactly.
Go put your investment where you're welcome, and that's here. I think this is one of the best for me, being a black man. Okay, being Kenyan also, but it's the best country I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. Nowhere else. Nowhere else.
Yeah, I agree
That's
with you.
for sure.
Yeah, being to over 22 countries and coming here like multiple times, I don't think there's any other place I want to go. Like, people keep telling me like there's other places,
Where
but like once you come here and you understand like that key word you said, freedom, freedom, like you feel like you're a human being. Like in America, you're either black, Spanish,
Yeah.
Asian, but here you're a human being.
Yeah.
Like, and that applies to everybody. Like they treat you like a human being.
First off, when you go apply any job here on the application, they will never ask you, are you black, white, other? We don't have none of that stuff. None of that. None. Doesn't that? There's nothing like that on the applications in Kenya. Nothing.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, we don't have that type of shit. Excuse my language, but we don't have that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And I get excited about things like that because I want to see brothers and sisters doing well and reaching their utmost top of their game. And that's, unfortunately, they're not able to exercise that elsewhere.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because black people are smart, man.
Exactly.
Smart, bro, smart.
Yeah. And that's why like a lot of people look at you like as an inspiration because like you was in the States, you made it in the States and you came back and then you just like, you triple fold because like you didn't have those shackles on you anymore.
Yeah.
You could just do whatever you want.
Whatever, yeah.
You had an idea.
And you ain't even gonna try that hard neither, you know? That's the other thing. You could try really hard and do really well, but so long as you're putting in that work, man, you're good.
Yeah. So if you're interested in coming back, like I said, we're setting up investment vehicles for people from North America, like Canada, US. I mean, other people could apply too, but North America is kind of like our focus right now because a lot of people have been coming to me saying like, how can I come to Kenya and stay in Kenya? Like, I don't want to go back home.
Yes, what's up?
And we know the opportunities. Like, we've been here. We have the network, we have the expertise, and we're trying to make it easy so like somebody can come here. I have this capital. I want to put this here. I'm thinking about this. This is my time frame, and we can situate with you. We can sit down with you, get you a plan, organize all that, so you can have your best life. Like literally, there's people coming here. Like I don't think they understand like how many people from other places is coming here and living their best life.
A lot
like,
of people.
Like I see people from other races driving around here, Mercedes, Ferraris, Maybach, Rolls Royces.
Yeah.
I'm like, with the capital that we have back in the States, because we're from like one of the richest countries, you could bring that here and you could live the same life.
Better than that. Yeah. I mean, the life you would live here?
Yeah.
Oh, bro, you can't even compare. Like, for example, how many people do you know of live in a setting where they have house managers, they have all kinds of workers in your compound, drivers, and all of that.
That's nannies, all that, yeah.
Nannies. Yeah. Like I employ 7 people in my homestead. I have 7 people working for me right now at home. So I have my house managers, I have my gardeners, and I have my drivers. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. So where exactly would you be able to do that in the States? Who would you have to be to do all of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You then gotta be Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. You better be somebody.
Yeah.
You better be Benjamin Franklin or something. You know what I mean?
You ain't being an ordinary person and employing that many
Yeah,
people.
yeah. In your home, not your businesses. In your home.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah, again, he's talking about his home. This is not his company. This is his home alone. Then he has a whole other team.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you want to come out here and experience that, and you think this is the right fit for you, you can sit down with us. We could get you situated. Hit the first pin comment or the link in the description, and you can get access to us, and we can discuss and make a plan for you.
Yeah.
But do you have any closing words you want to let the people know?
Well, let's try to get you guys living the best life. This life you only live once. no one's coming back to live a second time. So let's do it better. This one chance that we do have to ourselves, make it better for y'all. And I would love to see African Americans coming to do your thing, live your life fullest, happiest, and making that money at the same time. So y'all welcome anytime.
Yeah, karibu sana. That's how you say welcome.
Yes,
very
karibu
welcome.
sana. Yeah, that's
very
what's
welcome
up.
in Swahili.
Yeah,
and yeah, if you like this type of content, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. Like I said, you can hit the first comment or the first link in the description to talk to us. And this is Kid Greatness with my boy Tiki, and you can holler at us. Thank you for watching.